The velvet curtains of the Masterson estate didn't just block the moonlight. They held in the secrets of a 10-year marriage that had always looked like a masterpiece from the outside. Evelyn loved Julian with a devotion that felt like an ancient religion. He was a man of silver-tongued promises and expensive silk ties. The architect who had built her glass palace and filled it with rare orchids. To Evelyn, Julian was her anchor. She had spent a decade refining her grace to match his ambition, believing that their love was the one thing in her life that couldn't be broken. Then came Elena, the new maid. She was young, quiet, and moved through the house like a soft shadow. Evelyn had treated her with a gentle, sisterly kindness, never suspecting that the shadow was slowly eclipsing her own sun. It was a Tuesday, the air heavy with the scent of an approaching storm. Evelyn had returned early from a charity gala, her heels clicking softly on the marble floors. She wanted to surprise Julian with the news of the trip she'd booked to the Amalfi Coast, to return to where they had spent their honeymoon. As she reached the mahogany doors of their bedroom, she heard it, a soft, rhythmic laughter that didn't belong to her. She pushed the door open just an inch. The scene inside was a jagged blade to her soul. Julian, the man who had sworn his life to her, was entalled with Elena on the very linens Evelyn had hand-pressed that morning. The betrayal wasn't just in the act. It was in the way Julian looked at Elena with a raw, hungry fire he hadn't shown Evelyn in years. The orchids in the vase by the door seemed to wither in an instant. The glass palace didn't just crack, it turned into 1,000 shards of ice in her chest. Evelyn didn't scream, she didn't weep. A strange, cold clarity settled over her, a dark romance replacing the light. She walked to the antique desk in the hallway and retrieved the heavy, silver-plated letter opener Julian had given her for their 5th anniversary. It was shaped like a feather, delicate but dangerously sharp. She entered the room fully this time. The air froze. Julian bolted upright, his face a mask of panicked excuses. Evelyn, wait, it's not, she's nothing, you're right, Julian, she whispered, her voice as smooth as wine. She is nothing, and now, so are we. As he stepped toward her, reaching out with the same hands that had held her that morning, Evelyn moved with a grace born of pure despair. She didn't see a husband. She saw a thief who had stolen 10 years of her life. The struggle was brief and hauntingly quiet. When it was over, Julian lay across the bed they had shared for a decade. The scarlet stain spreading across the white silk looked, in the dim light, like the petals of the peonies he used to bring her. Evelyn stood by the window as the rain finally began to fall. She looked at her reflection in the glass. Her makeup was still perfect. Her pearls still hung heavy around her neck. She picked up the phone, her voice steady and hauntingly sweet. "Hello, operator. I'd like to report a tragedy. My husband, he seems to have lost his way." She sat on the edge of the chaise lounge, watching the storm, finally realizing that the only way to keep Julian's heart forever was to make sure it never beat for anyone else again.